Thank you, Dr. Shearing. The first activity we're going to discuss today is the Flip-Chute. The Flip-Chute is a question in, answer out activity which could be used for any subject area. You probably have seen them as you grew up, where you'll be putting in an index card that has a question on it. It'll go through the Flip-Chute and come out the other end with the answer. This is great when reviewing any information that you might need for a quiz or a test, or just to have the students reviewing in class. These are some examples that we created by Dr. Shearing's students. Obviously this one was when they were doing the story Alice in Wonderland. And for those of you who are really creative, more complex, somebody actually used a stuffed animal and inserted their Flip-Chute right into the animal. So you can add whatever flavor you have for the activity. If you're looking at the reciprocal thinking chart that's found in the book, these are the applied thinking skills that this activity will cover. It's acknowledging, recognizing, realizing, inferring, initial deciding, recalling, inventing, generalizing, and self-actuating. Materials that you're going to need to complete your Flip-Chute. The first thing you're going to need is a half-gallon milk or juice container, the cardboard ones. Next, you're going to need two 8x5-inch index cards, which you'll be inserting inside the milk container. You're going to need standard 1-inch wide masking tape. You're going to need 10 2-inch by 2.5-inch index cards, which will be used for the information that you're inputting into the Flip-Chute. You can cut these out of regular index cards or cardstock, whatever you have. You're going to need some kind of razor or knife in order to cut the milk container. Alright, I'm going to go back now. So you're going to need scissors and a ruler, 12-inch ruler, to make your measurements. Obviously a pen or a marker to mark your measurements down. And you'll need decorating supplies. This could be stickers, construction paper, contact paper, paints, plastic toys, whatever the theme is going to be for your Flip-Chute and the activity you're going to be doing with it. Kids can decorate it however they want, or if it's something you're going to be making, you can decorate it for the unit that you're going to have it into. So right now we'll get started making our Flip-Chute. First step we are going to do when we have our milk containers, obviously you want to have it prepared already where it's dried out, all cleaned out, is you're going to open the top. Just pulling it apart. I have mine already done. The reason that you're doing this is so that you can insert the part of the Flip-Chute into the inside, as well as depending on the theme you're going with, you might not want to have a point on top. So when you open it, you can cut the sides also, and you can fold it all down so that it becomes neatly out of your way. Okay? The next thing we're going to do is we are going to cut the two openings for our Flip-Chute. For this, you are going to be using your ruler and either the X-Acto knife or cutting knife that you have. First thing you're going to do is you're going to measure the opening for the top portion, which is going to be 1.5 inches down from the top of your milk carton. You're going to make a line there, and then you're going to make another line 2.5 inches down, straight across, which I'll do now. So now I have my two lines running parallel with each other across the carton. You're also going to leave about 1/4 inch space on each side, so you can make sure that you leave that so that your components all fit correctly. Okay. Now you're going to repeat the same exact steps, but on the bottom portion. So you're going to measure from 1.5 inches up. You're going to have your first line. And I had already marked off where these lines would be, as you can tell. And then you're going to go 2.5 inches up from the bottom as well. once again, I have my 2 lines, and now you're going to have to leave your 1/4 inch space on each side of it. Now that you've completed that, you're ready to cut out the 2 rectangles that you've made. Teachers who have younger students, you might want to complete this portion yourself. You can have them pre-done, or if you have a parent in the room to help the students, just because you are going to have to use a very sharp knife in order to cut through the cardboard. So you want to make sure that all the children are protected and safe. And here, I'm just going over the lines that I had already drawn, making sure that I don't cut too far and I leave my space. And then when you get to 3 sides cut, it gets a little flimsy. So if you leave it in, it's going to be hard to cut. The best bet is to pull it out, and then you can pull it up and cut right across that line. So you have your top section, and now we'll do the same thing on the bottom. And once again, I'm going to pull it out since I already cut 3 sides. Cut right across the last line. Okay. Now we have set up our milk carton. I'm going to put that aside for now while we make the other components. The next portion that we're going to make is the actual tracks that will be on the inside of our Flip-Chute. And for that, you're going to need 2 5x8 inch index cards, or cardstock once again. If you have a large piece of paper, you can cut out the shapes right on that. What you're going to be cutting for these is 2 rectangles. Both are going to be 3.5 inches wide, which I already started this line. However, one of them is going to be 6.5 inches long, and the other one will be 7.5 inches long. Again, you're going to need your ruler and either your pencil, marker, pen, whatever you use to mark it with. You're going to measure out your 3.5 inches. And then this is going to be my longer one, so right now I'm going to make the connecting 7.5 inch line. One of the points that I'm going to stress on this, which I stress with my kids, is that nothing has to be perfect. So as long as you're close in your measurements, it's always safer to be a little longer than shorter. I'm going to try and be as exact as possible. So now I'm going to cut it out. Now I have my first rectangle, which is going on the inside of my Flip-Chute, which is 7.5 inches long by 3.5 inches wide. Now most people scrap these. If you want, these also can be used for decorating. Kids can color the blank paper, you cut them out. It's always good to save whatever scraps you can.
Yep.
Alright, now that we have our 7.5 inch card cut, you can go ahead and cut your 6.5 inch long, which I already did. And the next step in preparation for later, you're going to score the 2 ends of the card at about 1/4 inch. This is going to be used when inserting it so that you can fold the tab. Now for preparation for later, we're going to score our cards. This is how we're going to bend the edges so that we can flip them over and fold them onto our cardboard carton. You're going to put a 1/2 inch score on each end. You can do this by using a ballpoint pen. You measure a 1/2 inch. And scoring is you want to press hard so that you leave a crease, but not hard enough that you go through it. If you don't want to use a pen, or for some students they might not be able to apply enough pressure in order to create the crease, you can also just do a fold. Again, you would just draw the line and you can fold it right on that line. And you do the same on the ends of all of the tracks for the flip chute. Okay, now we have all 4 edges scored, and we are ready to begin putting them into our flip chute. You are going to need 4 pieces of tape, approximately 5 to 6 inches long, and these are going to be used to anchor down your flip chutes when they come out. They'll go across the carton on the bottom and top of each opening. I'll show you how to do those now. Again, you're going to need 4 pieces of tape. You can pre-cut those so we have them. Okay. Now that we've done that, we are going to start with our smaller strip. So you're going to be using the 6.5 inch strip on this. These, again, we cut the top open so that we can insert it in, and you're going to insert it so that the scored part comes out of the bottom hole and you can tuck it right in front. Take your piece of tape, you can anchor it down, and remember you're going to be decorating these, so you'll be covering up whatever tape is on here. If your decorations are not going to be very thick or have paper on them, you can always just use glue. But it'll take a little longer time to dry. Okay. I have it secured to the bottom hole. I'm going to go in and bend it. It's going to create a loop, and it's going to come out the bottom part of the top hole, like so. And we're going to tape it down the same way. Now if you were to look inside here, you have a loop coming from the bottom of the top hole, coming to the top of the bottom hole. Your longer piece is your next step, and this is going to be reversed. This is going to be starting from the top of the top hole and going to the bottom of the bottom hole. And again, you're going to put it in through the top. Your scored end is going to overlap the front of the carton. You tape down. And then your bottom piece is going to come out, and the score end is going to overlap on the bottom. All right. We have our flip chute set up. All right, now that we have our flip chute assembled, we are going to make the cards that will go in it that have your information that you're learning about on them. They can be used for any subject, math, English, social studies, science, whatever you have, whatever content area you're working in. They are going to be small rectangles. You're going to be cutting them 2 inches by 2.5 inches. And in the top left corner of them, you're going to be notching the corner. And this is going to help you determine which side is going to be facing where when you go to put it into the flip chute. So for here, I already have them cut out. You can cut them from bigger index cards or from cardstock paper, whatever you have. Just want to make sure it's not loose leaf paper or like printer paper, because they're a little too flimsy. It's just a little more sturdy. You might want to test them out first. Make sure that your Flip-Chute is also usable. Sometimes the tracks inside are a little too tight, and the card won't slide all the way through, or if you make them too loose, it'll just fall through and won't flip over. So we'll just do a quick test run. Now the corner is going to be facing the top left when you go to put it in the top slot, and it comes right back out. So now that you've tested it out and make sure it works, you have to write your information on the cards. You're going to write your question on the front side with the notch on the top left side of it. And it's very important that when you go to write the answer that you don't just flip it over and write it any which way. You want to write the answer in the way that it's going to be coming out of the Flip-Chute, and to know you're doing that correctly, flip it over and the notch will be on the bottom left corner this time. So your question is going to be on the top left, and it's going to go in the top slot of the Flip-Chute. When it comes out, the answer will be right side up when the notch is on the bottom left corner. And so, like I said, you can use them for any content area. For this one, we have an ELA card with a definition and a vocabulary word on the front. The word is gigantic. Your students would go to put it in. They would tell you what they think the word means. I think gigantic is something big, and I let go of it. It comes out, flips the answer right over on the other side, and it lets us know that, yes, I was right. It's very, very large or huge. Another example, I have an addition problem, which I would use for my younger students. Standard addition, 2 plus 2. They would tell you 2 plus 2 is 4. It goes through, and obviously shows you 4 on the other end. Something my kids have difficulty with is clocks. I still have difficulty reading a clock, so I could even use this one. They're going to put it in, and the reason we put the answers on the back is so that it's self-corrective, so that the students can assess themselves while they're doing it. This clock to me looks like you can read 6 o'clock. We'll put it in, find out, oh, nope, I was wrong, it's 2 o'clock. And the students can put that into a pile and something they need to review and revisit later on. So that's the Flip-Chute. Remember, the last thing you're going to do with you or your students is you're going to be decorating it. You can use construction paper to cover it up. You can paint it, paper mache it, whatever arts and crafts you're into. You can decorate it however you want. And if you remember from previous, we had somebody who decided to cut this portion out and insert it into a stuffed animal. I myself have flattened out the top. If you wanted to use one where you wanted to keep the top up, if you were making a house or something, that way you would already have the structure underneath it. All right, another example, somebody made a mailbox. Could be doing something with social studies where you're sending out letters or, you know, facts about different states and whatnot. All right, and that's your Flip-Chute. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.